And welcome back to Nate Light Love. You know, love, some nights feel like the world's pressing in from every direction. The workplace that drains you, the relationships that confuse you, the kids who test your patience, and the quiet moments where you wonder if you're doing any of this right. Tonight on Late Night Love, we're sitting on the weight of it all, the boundaries we struggle to hold, the partners who don't always show up the way we need, the kids who push us to grow, and the choices that force us to face who we really are. So dim the lights, take a breath, hello, and let's walk through the mess together, gently, honestly, and without judgment. All right. You know, Lovey, we have a problem tonight.
We do.
I don't have anything for this intro section. I forgot something.
You did.
I did. I forgot to prep the first, 3, 4, 5 minutes of the show that, only people who watch the live show ever really watch. So I forgot.
You had a busy week.
And I went to go take a nap, for an hour.
Uh-huh.
Next thing I know, it was 3 and it was time to get up and put the studio together. And so there was that. But before we do start into the show, let's go ahead and get some business taken care of. You can send us your questions, comments, suggestions, etc. to loveitlatenightLove.us. You can also find us on KUBU 965 on Live 365. You can find us there whenever the heck we play. I don't remember. And please do us a favor and hit the like, subscribe, share button, all that good fun stuff. Or just hop on over to latenightLove.us. And one of these days I'll turn, join the website on, but gonna have to spend 2 days working on that website, and I just haven't wanted to.
Well, you've been so busy with work.
One of these days, I'm gonna buy a car.
That too.
Oh, man, I'm just tired of that process. Good Lord. Buying a car, even when you've got cash for it sitting in the bank, and okay, if you need a bridge loan, a small $2,500 loan, the bank said they'll give it to me. So I don't know why I'm worried about it. I just pull a trigger on something, but I am just tired of car shopping. I am just the nonsense.
Ooh, can I do it?
Can you do it?
Yeah.
But you want to argue with the car dealerships over price because they're all either $1,000. Some of them are $2,000 overpriced.
No, I just pay them what they want.
Well, I can do that. If I'm doing that, I'm just going to pay to have the car shipped in from Bakersfield. But the exact one I want, it's $1,000, $1,500 too much, but be the exact one I want anyway. The problem is I've done too much research, and so now I know how much these things should be actually worth. And so then I ask the questions, and I don't know. I get car dealers ghost me. I have cash, and apparently they don't want to sell their cars. So.
Not for your price.
They're sitting there. Some of these cars have been sitting there almost a year. You really don't want to sell your car. Because, some of these, they tell you how long they've been.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been sitting on it like 295 days. And you're asking too much. And well, no wonder that's morons. You're going to have to lower the price. On that particular one, a lot. Because none of the cars priced lower are selling. Hello, McFly. You just want to.
Yeah.
So. But I'm willing to wait. I'll wait it out, I guess.
No, we're in no hurry. We have a car.
Yeah.
To use.
Yeah, as long as I don't have to drive far, like, down to Riverside County for a quinceañera or anything.
Oh, shite.
Then it'd be fine. But guess what's coming up here in a few weeks? So.
Pull the trigger.
Yeah, I'll figure something out. All right. So let's go ahead. Oops, God, I keep hitting the wrong button. That one. Okay. All right. So we are moving into our segments tonight. And in our first segment, we are stepping into the fluorescent lit battle. The fluorescent lit battle. I'm going to try this one over again. All right. Welcome to Late Night Love. Tonight, we are stepping into the fluorescent lit battlegrounds of work and home, where colleagues can feel like enemies, bosses can feel like threats, and even the people we love can weaponize the roof over our heads. From the politics of potlucks to the pain of being undermined, we're talking about the moments that make you question your worth and your place in the world. Oh, don't I know about that? For the next 6 weeks, I got like 3 bosses. This is going to be insane. Or 3 people I report to somehow in shape, manner, or form. This is going to be insane. And I get to do that while waffle stumping on some toes. This is going to be all of my political training is now going to come into use, even the fact it's not politics. This is when all that time spent, in politics is going to come in handy, or I can speak and say nothing, or I can insult you and you not even know until later. I can point out something that you've been doing that's not going well for you in a way that, hopefully you can understand without being overly insulting. Like, hey, yeah, we'll talk.
It's an art form.
Or, hey, I'll leave my personal thoughts on that alone for another discussion so we can be productive.
Ooh.
I have. Yeah. So, anyway, I know how to do this, unfortunately, and so it's left to me. Okay, so where are we starting tonight?
Okay, we're going to start with our life questions. Should I bring food for a team breakfast when my colleagues hate me and my boss is trying to fire me? You don't have to.
Well, it kind of depends. One, if your colleagues hate you and your boss is trying to fire you, you should be looking for another job. Like, why'd you want to work there to begin with? Now, whether you participate in these team breakfast things or not, or how much you participate, is entirely up to you, because there comes a point where other people's behavior should not affect yours. So just because they are being unkind and unhelpful, or whatever, should not actually change your behavior. So, if you feel like participating, if you would naturally participate, then participate anyway.
Yeah.
Screw them. And if you wouldn't have, screw them. Don't show up. What are they going to do? Fire you? It's
really.
So, yeah. But if your boss is trying to fire you, and here's the thing, if bosses wanted to fire you, they just would. So maybe you're having a misinterpretation of things. A misinterpretation of things.
Yeah.
If bosses want to fire you for more than a month, then maybe you're misinterpreting, because bosses want to fire you. They just fire you.
They do.
I mean, if you've been working there for a long time, you got friends above you, maybe they can't. But but if everybody hates you, and and if your boss hasn't fired you yet, it means they're just because they haven't found anybody else to do what you do. So go take your value somewhere else that appreciates you. Yeah. Or there's another possibility. Examine your own behavior and see why someone might want to fire you.
Because if there's an issue, it's just going to repeat itself.
Yeah. So even if you move on, you want to make sure that you're not part of the problem.
Yeah.
Examine yourself. All right. What is next?
I feel this one. I don't want to share my snacks at work.
Okay. So don't.
Tell people no.
Yeah.
Bring your own snacks.
Yeah. Just tell them no. That's the power of no is a wonderful thing.
They're mooching. Don't let them be moochers. Make them bring their own.
Or, I don't know about policy, but, put snacks in a change thing. If you want some snacks, you're going to have to pay for them, suckers. I knew someone who did that. They'd buy snacks. They'd go to Costco. And people would buy snacks from them because they were morons. Wouldn't bring them themselves. And someone made a tidy profit by just having.
That's an idea.
That's just having snacked in their locked cabinet drawer. Yeah. Yeah. You want a candy bar? It's $2. It's only $1.50 at the vending machine. Only go to the damn vending machine then. It's like, yeah, it's your problem, not mine. So you want my snacks, you're going to start paying for them, would be my suggestion. So
that's a good one.
They'll stop.
Yeah.
Well, except for the person who does it because he just wants a snack and he's not trying to take advantage of you. He'll actually pay you for the service of buying snacks for them.
Yeah.
So you're essentially providing a service for a couple of those people. But, you do have the power to say no. Buy your own damn snacks. It's okay to say no.
It is.
It is.
It's work. This is not you're not at a family gathering hoarding snacks. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and it's one thing. You got some young coworker who's living paycheck to paycheck and they're hungry, and you throw them a candy bar because you don't want your coworker to be hungry all day. You know how people get without their Snickers, and so you chuck it at them. But that's a different thing. That's a choice.
Yeah.
Okay, what is next?
Oh, this one. Poor little thing. She's 18 and she can't have a conversation about intimacy with her 19-year-old boyfriend. He just completely shuts down.
Yeah, because he has no idea what you're talking about. You are discussing a subject that she knows nothing. But here's the thing, guys. You can actually have this conversation with an AI agent, so you're prepped when you're. So I'm just saying. She needs to give him time to get into space so they can have the discussion. But young men, if she grants you that privilege, use it properly. Get yourselves ready, perhaps, for the conversation. This is how relationships work. Men can sometimes take a few minutes to get days even to get prepped to have a conversation we don't want to have.
Stop it.
Just saying.
We let out a big sigh and then we go at it.
Well, so eventually we get there. But sometimes, we like to be prepared. Some people like me like to do research and just so I know, especially if it's a subject I know nothing about. And so men, you have the greatest tool at your disposal. Okay, my girlfriend wants to talk about intimacy. What do I do? Pop that into your favorite AI question thing, and it'll tell you how to prep yourself for it. Really well. These are questions we used to have with grandpa or your favorite uncle, or whatever. We don't do that anymore, but we have a different tool. It's probably going to give you more accurate information.
And grandpa had like 3 relationships.
Yeah, maybe hey, it is AI. It may not give you proper information, but it's probably can't do any worse than Uncle Bob. Sat there, give you your first beer and your first talk about women, and no one tells you till later that Uncle Bob was a womanizer. But it probably wasn't the greatest idea to listen to Uncle Bob. So pop it into your favorite AI agent and feel more comfortable with the subject and have the discussion. This is just 19, right? They're 18 and 19 years old. They don't know what they're doing.
No.
And he's stumbling around in the dark.
But she feels a need to discuss.
Yeah. Of course she does. It is perfectly reasonable for her to feel the need to discuss. There's, but this is the maturation process of adults. And remember, 18, she's more mature than that 19-year-old man. She just is. She's more ready to have those conversations than he is, generically speaking.
Yeah.
Just is. And so it's going to feel frustrating. Why do you think young women go up for older men? Older men know how to have this conversation, or know how to not have it, but not have you notice. So they feel more comfortable. That's, you don't have to deal with this.
Yeah.
You deal with someone who's already been through it, but it is what it is. So hopefully he can, in fact, she's not the one who should be asking the question. He is. So how does she get him to, put his big boy pants on, I suppose, is the question.
He just does a tap dance.
Yeah, because he doesn't know. He's lost in the conversation. So that explains it, but we still haven't helped her. What does she do? And it's been a long time since I've been 19. So what does she do?
Well, she can sit down and say, I'd like to have a conversation, and I know you may not be ready, but I'd like you to get ready.
Yeah, give him a prep day time.
Couple days.
Couple days to prep. Not too long, because then you'll overthink it and try to. So, couple days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just and here's the problem: when they're young, a lot of times it feels like some form of an attack, and you're trying to not step on minefields. So, especially as a young 19-year-old, you're more of a moron than someone a little older. You don't know. This is his first real relationship. His first time he's had to talk about this with someone he's liked. He doesn't know how to have this conversation. And so let him know you understand that.
Okay.
Hey, look, I get it. We can have this conversation over a couple of days. It's fine. 10 minutes at a time. We're not going to get stuck into an hour-long conversation. We'll have it in 10, 15-minute segments.
Yeah.
So make it a short, manageable thing. So he's it's not this big, huge anvil hanging over head. It's just a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah.
So in a sense, while it's important, you in a sense you want to make it feel less big.
Okay.
And so, because you're both ignorant on this kind of thing. It's likely your first time going through this for both of you. So there's no need to have it all at once.
It's okay to say we're not going to make a mountain out of a molehill.
No.
This is a little hill that we need to get over together. That's all.
Spend a limited amount of time on it each time, but have some dedicated time. Hey, we're going to spend 15 minutes every Tuesday having this stuff we don't know how to talk about. It's going to take us 6 weeks to get through an hour of conversation, but so what?
Yeah.
This is a long-term relationship. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters is that you're having the conversation.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to approach it. Okay. We actually did get to a answer to the question.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yeah. What does it mean when people say not to make friends at work?
Well, because it means the people at work aren't really your friends; they're colleagues. You have working relationships. Sometimes they can even be close, but at the end of the day, they're work friends. They're not real friends.
No.
Now, on occasion, you'll come across some, but
now, rarely you'll have one who follows you from a work relationship into a friendship after you have left that employment. That happens. I have one of those. I had two of those.
So but you don't trust them like you trust your friend, because they'll stab you in the back to climb the corporate ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Especially working in a corporate situation.
Yeah.
You're just another cog in the wheel. And the same thing. Here's the thing. You'll do the same thing. You both want the same job. What are you going to do? You're going to give it to let them have it? Of course not. You're going to try for it too. So, but it doesn't mean not to collect as you're climbing a corporate ladder. That doesn't mean you don't collect people who owe you things, or people who are useful as you climb. Bring people with you. So as you climb a ladder, you bring the people who helped you, bring them along, because then you can trust them as much as you can trust anybody. Okay.
What is the worst reaction you've seen from someone who got laid off or let go? I've been thinking about this one. I can't think of anybody just losing it.
No. Well, because if that's most of the time, you as another different employee aren't going to see the person's reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't see that very often.
Yeah.
It's just not something that comes across your plate. So I'm trying to think. It'd probably have to be something that back into the times when I don't remember well, when I was a teenager or something, working at restaurants and that type of thing. I have a suspicion when I was working at that Italian restaurant, I think one of the bus boys crashed out, as the saying goes these days. And
crashed out.
That's the phrase that the young people are using these days, when someone just flips their lid and has an emotional moment, shall we say, over something.
Has a feeling.
And then expresses it poorly.
Yeah. And a hissy fit.
Essentially, there's 100,000 words for it. The words they're using these days are crashing out.
Crashing out.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we do flip out, lose their
And that
mind,
is news to me.
lose
Anybody else just out there just learning this?
lost their crap.
Stay tuned for more tips on how to stay
Hey,
connected with
hey, man, the fact that I know is amazing.
I know.
I'm just saying. So I wonder how old it is if it hit me. How late am I to the party? So, but here's the thing, when you talk about this, is you don't want to work somewhere that doesn't want you anyway. So, one thing you do have that no one can take away from you is your dignity. And so don't lose that, is my suggestion.
Yeah.
It already sucks. Don't make life worse.
Yeah.
So, okay. What is next?
Well, I always felt I wanted to leave with a little bit of dignity. They were not going to get. They're not going to get me.
Well, you understand they don't care, right?
Yeah. But they're
So-
sitting there poised. Oh, she's going to lose it. Up yours. Y'all didn't never knew me. I'm out of here.
No, I'm firing because I already lost it at you people if you're firing me.
No, I didn't lose it.
Yeah, there's times where I'd get fired on purpose. I'm going to quit and we'll make you morons fire me.
Did you really?
Yeah. Just out of spite. Just because. It's in my younger days. Don't recommend it, by the way. Just to be clear. This is how I know that it's not the best way to go forward. It's emotionally satisfying, though.
Okay. This is a life question. Now they're in their late 20s, and her husband told her that it's his house, and she lives there at his mercy. And she is just devastated. She doesn't know what to do. Now, this was in a very heated argument.
Yeah, well, my thing is here, stop having heated arguments, because then you don't say stuff you don't mean.
Because he doesn't really mean it.
No, he doesn't mean it. Here's the thing. I'm willing to bet that people were saying emotionally hurtful things, and someone went to the spot you shouldn't go.
Yep.
And this is what happens when you escalate things, when you stop trying to be productive in an argument and you start trying to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So guess what? Nobody won, did they?
No.
Trying to win an argument with your spouse just makes your partner a loser. And do you really want your partner to be a loser? Of course not. And it's dumb. It's a dumb way to approach a relationship. Mm-hmm. So frankly, you guys have some work to do. And my instinct would be to not deal with this specifically, would be to deal with, okay, look, we clearly don't know how to argue. Deal with the real problem. Because this is one of those things. If you're arguing properly, this never happens.
Yeah.
And so by dealing with the root, you will deal with this. This will come out. He'll apologize because he's going to realize he went too far.
Yeah.
But by not dealing with it and allowing him to come to that conclusion himself, it's kind of the first olive branch of the repair. So
now what about saying I would like to be on the title?
She might already be, depending upon the state, it may not matter who's on the title, right? If it's in California, it doesn't matter who's on the house document, right? You can say whatever it wants. But the divorce court is going to say 50-50. It's not going to matter.
Yeah.
So, that's irrelevant when he thinks. That's a court decision in most places. It's got nothing to do with who's on the title.
Okay.
So, especially in a community property state, it's easy. And in the non-community property states, they still likely look at total assets and make the calculations. It's just done differently, and it'll balance out in the end.
It does.
So most times, relatively, oddly enough, divorces, if we could remove the emotions from it, we actually do divorces relatively well nowadays. Relatively, they probably still lean towards, women a little bit, but that It has changed. Now it's now much easier for men to get spousal support if they were the ones who were being house husbands and the economics were flipped.
Yeah.
It used to be terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not cool.
Yeah. It used to be terrible. The wife could make more money and have a better living situation, and they could pay alimony and child support. And, well, child support is one thing, but alimony and that kind of thing. And so, but now it's much more fair. And legally, it was supposed to have been fair 30 years ago, but it took 30 years for the actual process to catch up to what the ideal was. Just because it takes time for old judges and stuff to cycle out and everybody to change their rules and everybody to change the way they do things. It just takes time to cycle through such a large system. So you can complain that it took so long. Okay, fine. But hey, at least it's getting there. And at least it's a lot closer to fair, which is, term for children. But, if you can get something relatively close to
equitable.
Well, if you can get to the point where you're actually making decisions based upon individual circumstances rather than a cold, hard formula, I think we've made
progress.
Especially a cold, hard formula based upon gender rather than just a cold, hard formula based upon individuals, right?
Yeah.
It's who makes what, you put it all into a formula and you come out with a thing. It's a little cold-hearted, but it's better than, well, if it's the mother, then you get this formula. If it's a father, you get this formula. If the father's taking care of the kids, to get one formula. A mother's taking care of the kids, it gets a different formula. It's all it used to be all wacky, and so at least now it's more equitable or some form, more reasonable, more rational.
Yeah. We're getting there.
All
right. This one. Okay. He has a supervisor that repeatedly questions my work, critiques how I complete tasks, asks peers about my work. He also frequently comments critically about other colleagues' works and productivity directly to me, which is distracting and adds to the stress during shifts. What do I do? Tell him to shut up. Very politely.
Well, here's the thing that all your colleagues have done. They've essentially tuned him out. They just don't pay attention to him anymore.
Yeah,
they'll hear him, but they're not going to pay it. They're not listening to a thing he says.
Yeah.
So they might hear him, but they're not listening. And that's what, when it's your supervisor, it's harder. But here's what you could do if you really wanted to. Take that compliment to his boss or that complaint to his boss.
Yeah.
So I don't mind critiquing how I completed my task, right? That's part of his thing. And if I'm messing up, I want to know. That's great. But I don't need to hear about all the complaints about everybody else. I'm not HR. He needs to be talking to you about that, not about me. What am I supposed to do about it? And so you go talk to his boss because he said supervisor, which means there's another layer ahead over them. So you go to that person with that exact complaint. Says, if they continually critique my work, which is fine, it's their job, but I don't need to hear his complaints about everybody else. Maybe he's right about my work, maybe he's not, but I really don't want to hear about everybody else. It's distracting and creates stress. And here's the thing, his supervisor, boss person may not know because he never complains up.
Yeah.
He's complaining down.
Laterally.
At best.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might just be complaining down because if he complains upward, he's looking bad. And this is someone who is probably not really trained for the job he has.
Yeah.
Which is something we do. He was good at the job. And so we say, okay, great. You get to supervise everybody. Have a good time. See you later. And don't train him how to be the supervisor of the people who are doing the job he used to do. So now he's just trying to do the job, trying to get everybody to do the job he used to do the way he used to do it. But that's not how that works. You've got to let your people, accomplish their tasks their own ways. And what matters is the outcome at the end of the day. And he just doesn't know how to do that because no one gave him any leadership guidance. So, but what do? You play the chain of command. You take that complaint above him.
Yeah.
Because that's how the game is played. So, if no one has told you lately, you deserve safety, respect, space to breathe, whether it's a toxic coworker or a partner who's forgotten how to speak with love, you're allowed to draw a line. So, let's carry that truth with us through the week. From me and Lubby, have a good night. And please remember to love everybody.
Good night.